Are you thinking about moving to East Boston? Well, I get it. It may make sense because maybe you've heard about the amazing waterfront views there, or the affordable housing, or the easy commute to downtown, but is it really the right place or the right fit for you? Well, in this video, I'm going to break down everything you need to know before moving to East Boston, from what neighborhoods are like, the commute options, housing prices, and insider tips to help you decide if Eastie, as it is known, is the right fit for you. So stick around to the very end as well, because I'll reveal some of my favorites, some of the hidden gems that you won't want to miss. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Mike O'Brien. I'm a Boston real estate agent and expert, and I help people just like you navigate what it's like to live in Boston, finding the best neighborhoods, finding the right fits, and making sure that your move, your relocation is as stress-free as possible. So if you have any questions about Boston or East Boston, make sure you drop them in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss any videos like these. Now, let's dive into East Boston. All right, let's take a look at East Boston. You can see East Boston here. I mean, clearly why it's called East Boston, this area outlined in red as it is east of Boston, right across the waterfront. As we zoom in a little bit here, I mean, the proximity to Boston is really second to none. And you still get those waterfront views. We'll get into that in a little bit, but technically, I guess, northeast of Boston, right next to Winthrop here on the west side, or east side as well. You head up this way, you start to get into the North Shore, Revere, Nahant over here as well, Lynn, Swampscott, so on and so forth. Now you really get into the north part of the state. You head south, and you have basically all of Boston down here before you start to get into Quincy and Hingham down here on the South Shore. So again, East Boston, right across the way from downtown Boston. You can be downtown in 5 minutes if the traffic's treating you right. And we'll get into the commute a little bit. We'll get into all these waterfront views in a little bit as well. But let's start to, apparently we'll get into the next door speakeasy and raw bar at some point as well. As apparently that's something I checked out in the past. But there are 4 main neighborhoods in East Boston to consider. So as you work towards kind of the, we'll call it the back of East Boston, you have Orient Heights. As you come up towards or down 1A a little bit, as right there, you have Maverick Square that kind of extends back here and towards the middle of East Boston. You have Eagle Hill here on your left, and then you have Jeffries Point right on the waterfront. Really, so much of East Boston is right on the waterfront. But let's start at Jeffries Point, because this is where kind of the prime waterfront viewing can be, and I want to show a little satellite view as well. So still, East Boston, still very much an urban city, urban environment. You do have a fair amount of green space between Constitution Beach over here. You have Belle Isle back here, Belle Isle Marsh Reservation. You have a lot of parks, piers, and of course you have all the waterfront as well. Of course, bears mentioning that East Boston is known mainly for its proximity to Logan Airport. So again, right across from downtown here is Logan International Airport. There was a time where East Boston was a place to live if you wanted really affordable housing because of the airport traffic. I remember decades ago, not to date myself, but graduating from college, I had a couple buddies who moved over to East Boston because it was the cheapest rents, because they were dealing with all the planes overhead and the traffic. Since then, so much of that air traffic has been diverted, so it's not going over your head day after, or I say minute after minute, hour after hour. So East Boston has become quite a place to live because it's got the waterfront views, it's got the city views. It is, and so you're getting all that. And it's really been an area that has been developing and is still being developed with new renovation, new construction. Let's get into it a little bit. So let's start in Jeffries Point, which is probably, I think, some of the favorite one of the favorite areas or most sought after areas of East Boston because of, well, the waterfront and the green space and all those good things. So if we go down Jefferson Point, you start to see the parks over here on the left side. If I can scroll out. Let's see if we can get scroll out here a little bit here, or at least zoom out. So we start to see some of the green space in East Boston. So there you go. So right by the piers, right by the docks. So you have a little park there, and then you start to get into a lot of the recently constructed or new construction here in East Boston. Let's see if we can get our little man down here on East Pier Drive, aptly named, of course. And so you have both apartment style condo buildings here where units are for purchase. You also have buildings where you have apartments for lease. I know you have goeastpier.com. They're in the middle of phase as well. This is a fun building. Little pool. You can't see it that well, but there's a pool in there. They have a game room. They have a nice lounge. I do have a friend who lives in this building, has balcony access on this side. And I mean, let's get into it. Here's the city views. Here's the waterfront views. And when the sun is setting over there on the west side, it is pretty stunning to see. Now, this I got to talk about this because this is a tall ship. What is that? Well, let me show you. Because this is an old tall ship that has basically been converted into a bar. So again, if we scroll out, you start to see it. The tall ship. This has become one of the I think the hottest spots in Boston, the tall ship Boston. They opened up during the warmer months, so it's closed right now as we're recording this in March. But Friday, Saturday, even Thursday night, this is a place to be. And this walkway, you'll see people lined up all the way down the walkway, down the sidewalk, and well, down the pier and into the sidewalk as well. So that's a tall ship. That's one of the hot spots in East Boston for sure. And they had some bocce courts and some lounging areas as well. So apparently it's been a little while since I've been to the tall ship because that's all new to me right there. But let's get back down to the street level. So you've seen the green spaces of Jeffrey's Point. You've seen the tall ship. You see the waterfront views. And again, the development, I would say, is definitely kind of working from the waterfront back. So you see a ton of new construction, recently constructed, new renovation here in Jeffrey's Point. Now, condos here can run from about $600,000 to, easily to $1 million and into the $1 million. So just keep that in mind as you're looking for properties in East Boston potentially. And again, this is just a fun area. They've done a really good job, not only with the renovation, but keeping the green space alive here as well. So yeah, again, you see not only the development, the waterfront, but for an urban setting, a good amount of green space and a good amount of nature as well. And there you have your Lopresti Park. Basketball. I think do they have a baseball field down there as well? No, I think it's just the park. Yeah, just the park and the soccer fields. Let's see if we can get down there as well. Our little man, give us a view. Not so much. I think put us into the tunnel. So not so much. Yeah, let's get back outside. So just so you know, the tunnel to Boston runs right under these fields. So if we go back out, if we take a look at East Boston again, so we saw Jeffrey's Point. And I said there are four main neighborhoods. You have Jeffrey's Point as well. So we have Jeffrey's Point, and like I said, as we move back out, Jeffrey's Point, Eagle Hill, and then Maverick Square, working back to Orient Heights and Suffolk Downs. So let's see if we can get down here to Eagle Hill. So a lot of waterfront views, a lot of waterfront property down here in Eagle Hill, but you're looking towards Revere as opposed to downtown Boston. So a little bit of a different vibe, but let's show you what it looks like from above. And this is where you're going to find a little bit more of your retail space in Eagle Hill. As we pop right down, right smack dab into the middle of Maverick Square here. Actually, a little bit further up. But again, now you're definitely into the city of East Boston, downtown, if you will. So we work back over towards Jeffrey's Point a little bit, but let's get back over to Eagle Hill because I'm going to show you what they have to offer down there as well. Some new, hey, and there, as we talk about it, there's some new construction. Go figure. So let's see if we can get back out here. So Shaw's, there's your grocery store as well, just in case you're wondering. We take a look at the layer view. So this is where we were before La Hacienda, East Boston. You may have seen that. We work back towards Maverick Square. That's kind of the downtown. We saw Lepresti Park as well. But and so let's get down to Maverick and that T stop and start to work towards a waterfront a little bit. So this is your first T stop, or at least the closest T stop to Boston, which is the train, the underground train and above ground train, depending on where you are in Boston. But this is where you're finding a lot of these shops and your restaurants down here in Maverick Square as well. But let's see if we can get across the way here and start to get towards the waterfront on, we'll call it the west side of the city. But not a lot of single families in East Boston. I mean, you're going to see a ton of triple deckers. You're going to see a ton of attached townhomes or condos. So again, if you look at the breakdown of the housing in East Boston, there's like 900 single families. Meanwhile, you have over 3,000 condominiums or townhomes available. So you get part to a little bit more to the industrial portion of East Boston, but again, another new construction high rise. You go back down this way. You go back down this way, and you're starting to get back into Jeffrey's Point. But let's see if we can start to work our way down towards, well, into a little bit further and deeper into Eagle Hill. Again, more new construction, condo buildings, townhome buildings. Old industrial. This, to be honest, this will probably be renovated and reconstructed sometime soon. And places like this starting to pop up, kind of the artisan, these artisan shops and restaurants and bars. They have the Atlantic Work building over there. And again, this just wasn't all around not too long ago. So prices are going up accordingly, but still a place where you can get those waterfront views, where you can get that new luxury condo or home, and you're not necessarily paying the prices like you would see in, we'll say, Back Bay or Seaport. Seaport would probably be the most apt, I guess, neighborhood to compare it to. But I mean, the prices over there for a waterfront condo or a condo with a waterfront view or water view, I mean, you're looking at millions, multi-million dollars. You can still get the quality at, let's call it, half the price here in East Boston. So it's why it's become a real hotspot for people trying to, find a good living situation, but also not break the bank doing so. So now we start to get into Central Square a little bit, or rather, Central East Boston, Maverick Square. And again, more new construction, more new renovation. And now we start to get, to the sections of East Boston where, development is, I'd say, ongoing. So, where you get to, kind of the waterfront section of East Boston, you see so much development there. Now you kind of work your way back, and you're still going to see some of those old triple deckers, those old double deckers, and whatnot that are, I'd say, in the process of being developed. So not all of them are there, but again, you can find those condos, you can find those homes, in the 600 to $900,000 range. So maybe you're not necessarily breaking into the seven figures. Maybe you can kind of keep it in that mid to upper six-figure range, and still find the quality that you're looking for. So again, let's get back and let's get back into a little bit, and let's start to work a little bit back towards Orient Heights a little bit. There's your Planet Fitness. And let's see. Let's go down to Addison Street. So this is in the Orient Heights section of East Boston. And again, new construction happening. This just developed. In fact, there's 2 units, I think, on the market right now in this building. Now, again, this is more in the industrial section. This is Route 1A. This will take you back down into the tunnel to get into Boston. So if you're right here, you're on that, and you're into Boston hopefully in 10 minutes. So let's talk about the commute options a little bit. So if I scroll back out, and we'll get back in the neighborhoods here too. And I definitely want to get in Greenway as well. But I mean, the good thing about East Boston is you are not far away from a major thoroughfare that's going to get you where you need to go. So 90, this goes through East Boston. This is known as the Mass Pike. So once you get across the water here, or I say under the water, through the water, and into Boston, this becomes a Mass Pike. This will take you all the way out west as far as you want to go. Actually, 90 keeps on going all the way through New York and whatnot. But 91 way to get in the city quickly. You have 1A, which is probably the road that people use most to get into downtown Boston from here. That's when I'm going to the airport or coming from the airport or coming from East Boston, going to East Boston, I'm going through the tunnels here and 1A. Now, you also have the ability to take the ferry from East Boston down to right to downtown. That's a quick ride. That's, I think, the 15-20 minute ride. So doesn't run year round, but if you summer months, you want to liven up your commute a little bit, you can definitely take the ferry from East Boston across the way here, across the water to downtown Boston. Now, let's say you're living on 40, where we were before, 40 East Pier Drive, and you wanted to get to Faneuil Hall. You want to get that to, you want to go to, Faneuil Hall, which is, just as much downtown as anywhere else. There you go. And, it's getting to be rush hour here. Traffic is starting to build up, but, 14-minute drive. If you're taking public transportation, you're, picking up the T here at Maverick, and now you're down the State Street on the Blue Line. 14, one stop away. You spend more time probably walking to the T from where you need to go than actually on the T itself. So just one stop away. If we were going from the airport, we did Maverick already, but if you're going a little bit further back here on the T, say Wood Island. So you're going from Wood Island T down to Faneuil Hall. There we go. There you go. Still an 11-minute commute. If you want to take the bus, it's a little longer, 20 minutes. So again, part of the a draw of East Boston is how quickly you can get downtown. So something to consider as well. And again, a big reason why people love to, have been choosing to move to East Boston. So the Blue Line, the fastest way to get in the city. And for those people who know Boston and know the other lines in to consider, the red line, the orange line, the green line. Not all those T's get into Boston as fast as the Blue Line. So between the ferry, between the road access, between the T. One of the biggest perks of living in East Boston is the super easy commute. So again, one of the big reasons why people find themselves in East Boston. All right, so commuting aside, let's get back into some of these neighborhoods here. Bennington Street, the major thoroughfare that's going to get you back to the Orient Heights. And this is where you start to see a little more space. The houses indeed are a little, can be stacked up for sure, but this is where you're going to find more of your single family opportunities back here. You're still very much going to see, your double deckers. You're going to see those, double or triple deckers that have been converted into condominiums. We got to go over to Constitution Beach while we're here, though. And let's see if they'll let me get over here from there. Am I going to have to do an actual roadway? No, let's just let's just scroll out and get over this way. So this is Constitution Beach. So again, you talk about not being too far from downtown Boston, not too far away from some roads that can get you to other places. Well, you're not too far away from the beach either. So Constitution Beach. Let's see if we can get down here a little bit. Some people obviously enjoying the sun while the while the Google machines were driving on by. And again, this is just a quick hop, skip, and a jump. And some more green spaces here. Some more parks as well. I thought I just saw, oh, there we go. There's the playing fields and the athletic fields. So again, you don't have to go all the way down to the waterfront. Well, this is the waterfront, but you don't have to go all the way down to Jeffrey's Point to find the waterfront and or some green space as well. Here are the fields I was talking about. So also bears mentioning there is Suffolk Downs down here. So, what is and was as a horse track has also become a kind of a summer stage and a summer concert venue. Let's see if we can get down here to check it out. Are you gonna let me get down there? Oh, let's see if our little man will help us get down here. See if the stage is up. No, it won't let us go down there and see it. But yeah, stage at Suffolk Downs. I think Teddy Swims is coming up there soon. So they have a bunch of great concerts, and it's actually one of the it's a bit of a hidden gem of a concert venue. I don't think enough people realize, hey, this is out here and they have some good shows. So make sure you check it out. So yeah, this is a different angle here of East Boston, now going kind of from north to south, but not not necessarily in our vantage point here. But we talk about East Boston and the space here. Revere Beach, not too far away. Nahant, one of my favorite beaches. So again, I mean, listen, when you're on the waterfront, you're never going to be too far away from the beach, and East Boston is no exception. So let's get back to this. And just to let you know a little bit quickly about the schools. So it is a mix of public, charter, and private schools. You do have Sam Adams Elementary School right here. East Boston High School. Let's give you a look at that. So yeah, this is back towards the Eagle Hill section. And then you also have schools like Excel Academy Charter School, which is smack dab in the Maverick section. And Umana Academy as well. There you go. It's right here on, also in Eagle Hill, essentially. So I just want to take you through a couple of schools here so that you do know you have schooling options in East Boston. But I want to start to take you through some of my favorite spots in East Boston as well, because there are a ton of great waterfront restaurants, just a ton of great restaurants in general. So Let's get down here to Lepresti Park. And you may see already where I'm going, but Real House. Yeah, let's get down there. So, Real House, great restaurant with the outdoor patio along the way. This is where you pick up that ferry I was telling you about. That'll get you over to downtown Boston. You can see some people enjoying the outdoor space. Now that we've had a view of Real House, I want to take you to another. All right, let's get out of Real House here and let's go through Lepresti Park and take you to Mira. Oh, did it take me to, yeah, it took me to the other one. So there we go. This is what we're looking for. So obviously it has a couple locations, but this one right on the waterfront. Let's see if we can get down there with our little man. There we go. Is it going to let us walk down any further? No, I think that's it. But hey, if you want to see some more new development, there it is. And if you want to see some waterfront views, absolutely. So another fun spot I need to take you to is EBO and Company Grocery. What does EBO stand for? Well, that stands for East Boston Oysters. So this outfit does kind of pop-up oyster shucking events in and around Boston, and they open and they bring in beer partners, wine partners. It's always a good time. But they open a retail space right here. So this is where they have, the fresh produce. You go in and get oysters, caviar, other seafood, wine, plants. I mean, this grocery has just about everything. So great spot to, if you're feeling a little bougie, you want to pick up some oysters, feel free. So took you to some of my favorite eateries between Mita and Real House and East Boston Oyster, Pazza and Porter, Santarpio's you need to know about. We did take you through Constitution Beach. We did take you back through Let's take you back through Pierce Park again, in case you forgot. Where'd it go? There it is, Pierce Park. There we go. And of course, you have the big park back here, East Boston Memorial Park. So again, I just love all the green space here in East Boston as well, even though that one's right by the highway. If you hit a home run, maybe maybe someone driving by will catch it. You do have Jeffrey's Yacht Club here, and also you have this Harbor Walk, which I haven't gotten to. So not just the green space, and I'm harping on that, but you have this nice little walk that starts here, right on the edge of the piers, and basically takes you down the length of East Boston. And a little dark here, clearly end of day, or maybe it's early morning when they were filming this. Who's to say? But I mean, what a way to kind of, regardless, go about your morning walk. Just head on out, head down the waterfront. And I think there's another spot you can pick up the ferry. As someone enjoying the spot there, enjoying the walk, enjoying the water here. So anyway, this keeps going. If you go around, if you look up here at the layer view, you can see that this harbor walk takes you from Jeffrey's Yacht Club all the way down. And there's the ferry terminal. So I was right about that. Down a little monument. And that's it. And we'll take you to the airport, but you have that little river walk as well, which is fun. So let me just get back in the neighborhoods a little bit. Again, Jeffrey's Point, we talked about. Let me get into a spot that's not necessarily a waterfront. But again, you see all the renovations happening. Again, prices can be in the 600 to 1 million range, and definitely can get into seven figures. So again, and you're looking at a lot of apartment style condos, maybe some townhomes in some cases. But kind of what you're seeing is what you get in the Jeffrey's Point section of East Boston as you start to work your way, kind of away from the waterfront and towards the back. Now, if we're looking at let's go back to Orient Heights and kind of maybe work our way forward again. So we went down Addison Street before. We came off of Bennington Street. But if you want to check out some more of the neighborhoods here, let's go. And you go down Byron Street. This is where you'll start to see more of the single family opportunities. And I think I mentioned this already, but just in case, again, you're probably staying in the six figures when it comes to home prices here. $500,000 definitely can get into the $900,000. And listen, if you're finding new renovation, new construction, it can definitely be in that $1 million range as well. But a little more bang for your buck here in Orient Heights when you compare it to a section like Jeffries Point. And if we're zooming back out and we want to get back down into the Eagle Hill section, let's go down to Lexington Street here. And this is, I mean, you still very much feel kind of the urban portion of East Boston and Eagle Hill. Prices here are going to be more like, I'll call it, you can start $400,000 to $500,000 for the right home, but for multifamily and single family and historic homes, you're looking to 600, 700. Again, it all depends on, how long has it been around? What's the square footage inside? Is it newly constructed? I mean, that's going to be the big arbiter for the prices these days. Is it new development? Is it new construction? Is it a historic home? But I do love the architecture down in East Boston. Yeah, strange. Another place being constructed, right? And again, if I take you to the Maverick Square section of East Boston, just want to give you a little sense as well. So if we're in the Maverick Square section, again, this is, I mean, you're essentially downtown at this point, right? And again, you're probably looking in the mid six figures, $400,000 to $700,000 for condo or townhome or apartments in this area. But maybe for how long? The new construction popping everywhere. As you see the T. Is that the T? No, that was not the T. That was the T on the right side. But yeah, I just want to take you a little bit through the neighborhoods here and down this and some of the major thoroughfares to show you what you're getting in East Boston. So now we've covered the basics and maybe more than the basics, trying to take it pretty in depth into what East Boston has to offer and what it looks like. Let's talk about some of the pros and cons. So the pros, affordable, definitely, compared to other Boston neighborhoods. Easy access to downtown, either by 90, 1A, especially the Blue Line, taking the T. Great foods, great parks, great waterfront views, a evolving, diverse, and growing community. Some of the cons. Well, Logan Airport is still right there. So can you be dealing with some flight traffic and noise and issues there? Of course. Street parking, like it can be in so many downtown Boston areas, can be tricky. So, street parking, resident parking, it can be a challenge as it is in most areas of Boston, if we're being honest. And so it is constantly a developing area. So you might be moving in and you might find that the building next door is getting renovated or new construction might be popping up next door. So just some pros and cons to consider when thinking about that move to East Boston. So at the beginning of this video, I promised some hidden gems. And so I definitely want to take you through them. So there's so many breweries and distilleries, and in some cases, cideries popping up in and around Boston. And so let's see. Downeaster Cider House, you might be seeing, this might be popping up where in your neck of the woods, wherever you live. But Down East Cider has become one of the prevalent ciders and cider houses in Boston and in Massachusetts. So if you're looking for some beer or wine alternatives, you should definitely check out Downey. Well, check out Downey Cider in general, but come on down to East Boston and make sure you check out Downey Cider. Santarpios. We need to make sure we go to. There we go. There's one in the airport, but that's not the one we're looking for. There we go. So this has been an absolute institution and a Boston favorite since 1903. Listen, even if you're not moving to East Boston, it's just heading there for an hour or two, make sure you hit up Santarpio's. The pizza is unbelievable. Also, I want to take you down Porter Street just because one of my favorite restaurants is down there as well. And again, this is just, there's no sponsorship or partnership here. This is just, these are some of my favorite spots. Pots on Porter, great spot, great Italian food. So, if you are in the mood for pizza, head to Santarpio's. If you're in the mood for a little higher fare, then definitely head to Pots on Porter. Quite a nice monument here in East Boston. So cideries and oyster places or oyster grocery shops aside, do want to take you down to the Madonna Shrine. Not only stunning, but also as you're visiting this place, this shrine or this monument. So if you want to get away from it all, you can find your way down to the Belle Isle Marsh Reservation, or Belle Isle as it's called, and just enjoy a nice little walk here amongst all this this conservation space. So that was East Boston, and now that I've taken you through it and shown you some of the neighborhoods, parks, restaurants, places to hang out, and some of the hidden gems, is East Boston the right place for you? Well, it's convenient to downtown. It's got affordable housing. It's a growing, evolving neighborhood. It might just be the perfect fit. We need to make sure that you pick the right area that suits your lifestyle and your price point and all the factors that you're considering when moving to Boston, or in this case, East Boston. So comment below if you have any questions or if you're considering a move to East Boston. If you are, I'd love to help. Make sure you reach out to me. You can reach me on Instagram at Mike O'Brien Homes. You can email me directly at mikeobrienhomes@gmail.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more Boston real estate and neighborhood guides. And stay tuned for my next video where I'll actually be boots on the ground in East Boston and take you on a full tour of that area of Boston and some of the houses on the market right now. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.